All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. I have my chat. Yes, I do. Let's bring it down. So, what is up, everybody? What is up? What is up? What is up? Let's turn the music off. So, apologies if you hear a loud noise. My fan is loud, so things are just gonna be a little wacky as is. What's up, chat? What's up, everybody? As you can see here, so let's do something. Let's do something here. I think a lot of people don't know when I turn agenda mode off and turn it on. So what I've done today, right, since people just don't understand tone, they don't know when to take me seriously and when not to take me seriously, I bought these glasses. These glasses are going to be a signifier of agenda mode off. We're going to do that because for whatever reason, me talking about the narrative or talking about a story, I'm not allowed to do that, right? Because I've done agenda piece, right? And mind you, you make your bed, you lay in it. So I'm not acting like, oh, this is unfair. Like I can take the fact that when you do satirical content, a lot of times it's going to be hard for people to take you seriously. So at the end of the day, I think I'll accept that. I think I'll accept the fact that I was a big Rocks fan and I was shocked by Domi Reversi. So at the end of the day, it's like fair. You can definitely get your licks in. Be like, LOL, Rocks got Domi Reversi'd. If that's the agenda, it is what it is, right? I make fun of Kid all the time. I slander Kid. I slander Dragon. If you can dish it, you can take it. So that, I get that. I get that. But now, see, someone's called me the four-eyed fraud already. It's wonderful. The glasses make it seem more satirical. I mean, listen, man. I think I look pretty good with glasses. I ain't gonna lie. I think we look pretty good with glasses. But what I wanted to do with today's video, right, is I wanted to talk about the Domi Reversi, talk about the reaction, talk about the reaction to the community. Yeah, this is Professor. This is intellectual Jay area. Does Jay read super chats? I do. I do read my super chats. So it is. I think it's time for us to talk about a few things. One of the first things that I wanted to address, is the Twitter backlash. Right. So when you are a content creator, no matter what you do, if you have an opinion that kind of goes against the grain, you kind of got to eat it no matter what. And if you respond too much, more people are just going to put you down and they're going to laugh at you and saying you're being too sensitive. And to be fair, I think I responded to a few things as well. But at the end of the day, this is kind of the game. This is what comes with it. So for the most part, people are going to get over it. I'll get over it. We'll move on. One thing that I do have an issue with is there was a tweet that I saw going around directed at me and Brago saying that because I think it was Leo who posted a picture of me and Brago's facial reaction to Domi Reversi, and the person in question who quote retweeted that said, I swear Jay and Brago are always negative. I don't think I've ever seen these guys post anything positive. And that frustrated me because if anything, I've been one of the loudest people when it comes to Elbaf, when it comes to the Rocks flashback, when it comes to Harold's character dynamics. I made a One Piece discussion video. I don't remember the last time I made a One Piece discussion video about anything really. Maybe there was a Kuma and Bonnie one as well. So for the most part, I've been pretty positive. I'd like to say I've been pretty positive, especially about this flashback. I didn't like Elbaf at the beginning because it was a little dry. But once we got there, I was like, this is great. So to say that, and then what made it even worse is that this person then went on to say that they don't really watch any of our content at all, me or Brago. And that this is kind of just what I see or generally see. So not only have you made a statement to brand me and Brago as people that are consistently and constantly negative when we are already subject to a heavy criticism based on reactions to the chapter. But then you also admit that you haven't absorbed any of our content or really know what we said. You've just made a tweet about this. And it's things like that that I find frustrating, because it's one thing to watch my stream and disagree. It's one thing to even see maybe a 2-minute clip and disagree and be upset about it. It's another thing to not even watch the content. It's one thing to make a general statement about two content creators, have no education on any of their content or their last video, and then make a claim that they are always negative. To me, it's malicious. To me, it is short-sighted. It's ignorant. I mean, there's many words to use here. And I just didn't like that. I really did not like that at all. And this is where I find, I don't want to paint the entire community in this way, because there's a lot of great people in this community. It's a lot of great people in this community. I would not do this if it was not for some of the people in the community that I genuinely, truly enjoy. So when you see this title, this is more about the fact that right now I'm kind of like public enemy number one. We all get our turn here. This is the game. At some point when you put your face out there, you're gonna get your turn. But I just found an issue with that comment. And I just found it pretty disrespectful. And I saw people defending me and Brago. I say it's even more unfair to Brago, because Brago is pretty mature when it comes to his reactions. I'm a passionate guy, and I yell a lot. So if people take my passion as me being brazen, disrespectful, loud, I get that. But Brago is chill most of the time, measured. He'll say he doesn't like something, but he'll also say, but I should take my time. So when Brago was thrown in there, I got offended. I got offended as a brother, because that's my guy, right? And he's got to deal with ratty Mihawk fans and Zoro fans as is, right? So I can take it. I can take it to a certain degree, but when you come after a brother like Brago, he just doesn't deserve that. And that's what made me really upset, is Brago just doesn't deserve that. And that's just completely disingenuous. It's almost as if you've never seen a Brago video. Brago is very rarely negative in general. Like, he'll have things he'll disagree and he'll say it, but he's got way more patience than me. Like, let's be frank, guys. We're all honest here. Brago, in terms of patience and calmness, yeah, bro, he completely overtakes me. So I just found that's why I really commented on it. It's just, to me, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I think what happens is, I think it's easy to pile on when the chapter that we're talking about here was mostly a good chapter. I didn't even think it was a bad chapter. There's two things that I just did not like. One of them is more of a, it's not the end of the world, but I'm scared, and that's the Garb. And the other one is the Domi Reversi. So before we get to Domi Reversi, just to finish off this point as well, Jay, you need some rest. PSAD is a very dangerous disorder. I don't know what that is. What is PSAD? So for a lot of people that are frustrated with reactionary content, because at the end of the day, we have to wait, right? When we're doing something week to week, at the end of the day, we react to what we see week to week. I think one of the dangers with week to week manga is that the author obviously has a plan in mind, but he has to write his manga in a week to week format. If you see how mangaka normally are formulating all of their story, they are thinking about the week to week as well as the long term. So when a chapter comes out, they understand post-agenda stress disorder is crazy. You guys are idiots. Shut up. You guys are idiots. They'll know if they make a decision, they already know if it's going to upset their fan base. So One example I want to use is Oda doing Gear 5. Oda knew that Gear 5 would piss some people off. Oda knew that Gear 5 would kill the tension of the fight. And Oda openly said it. He said, people will not like this. But it's okay because I think it's fun and it's what I want to do. Now, if we see, I know it's all love trade. Thank you. That's funny. It made me laugh. It's funny. When you see people say, I don't like Gear 5, and they did not like it, but then you see people get furious at it, like, how could you not like Gear 5? Do you not understand the themes of Gear 5 and the freedom? And what do you mean you don't like it? What do you mean it kills attention? You're just not reading. You don't have reading comprehension. Your takes are ass. It's so funny that the mangaka himself said it's going to upset people, which means he knows that some people are going to take this the wrong way and it's okay. The mangaka said it. But then you don't like it, you have an issue. The mangaka said people are not going to like it because he knew it. And he knew what it would do. But then people didn't like it. And then people are angry about it. So for me, I'd like to believe that it's possible Oda knew people wouldn't like Domi Reversi, right? And when it comes to reaction content, in that moment in time, I believed that Oda had built up Rocks to be this legendary figure. He'd been building up Rocks ever since he mentioned God Valley. And this build for Rocks was getting higher and higher. He pulls up to Imu. He gathers all these strong pirates. He's in God Valley. He just fought Herald, right? He just one-shot a Holy Knight twice. Like he's climbing high and higher and higher. And God Valley is the big moment we're waiting for Rocks because we know we had Garp and Roger versus Rocks, right? We even knew Domi Reversal would probably be some sort of thing because we know Rocks isn't here anymore. So it's either Roger and Garp beat him, and if we know Imu's a factor, Domi Reversal probably will show up here at some point in time. So a lot of people say, but we knew Domi Reversi was coming. So think about, and this is where the bad writing, the comment came in, right? He fights Imu, right? Where Imu is here, don't know why he's here, but he's here. We have the strongest combined attack we've had in the entire story. Big Mom, Whitebeard, Kaido, Garp, Roger, Rocks. Whitebeard named attacks, Rocks named attacks. Everyone's using a named attack. All hit Imu at once. No damage. Regen, right? There, it's like, okay, this didn't work out. This didn't happen. From that moment on, Rocks is now slicing at Imu. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, Imu is a regen merchant, and we know he has Domi Reversal. But what we know about Domi Reversal is like, you got people like Dorian Bragi and the Giants. In our minds, these guys are like, okay, so they're strong, but it's not like Pinnacle. It's not like we're going to see Luffy be Domi Reversal. We're not going to see Shanks Domi Reversal, Whitebeard. In your mind, you're not imagining that's possible because you're like, there's got to be some limitations here, right? This is probably something that's going to be used to overwhelm others, and using it on Giants is probably good. It's probably not good. It's probably something that's normal. So we don't know the limitations. We just know people get flipped. So we're at the peak with Rocks, and we're just like, okay, Rocks versus Imu. We finally got the fated clash. It's coming back. Rocks said he's going to come back and fight Imu. So does Rocks have a way to beat Imu? So you're thinking about, what can Rocks do? Is he going to show a vulnerability? Is he going to show anything? Is anything going to happen? And then in that moment, he gets Domi Reversi'd. And instantly, the reader, which is me, goes through a shock. You're just like, wait a minute. So the same way that Dorian Bragi and the random Giants in Elbaf got hypnotized and turned, Rocks can also get Domi Reversi'd? So if Rocks can get Domi Reversi'd, then in my mind, I'm thinking, well, Shanks, Roger, Whitebeard, Kaido, everyone on God Valley can get Domi reversed. Everybody. And instantly you're thinking to yourself, well, that's dumb. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, actually. Why is it that the most legendary pirate that we know to this point can just get hypnotized? And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, so instantly your first reaction is, oh, this is dumb. I don't like this. You're frustrated. You got shocked. Then you think about it. And as time goes by, I think about it. And I'm like, okay, so Emu is probably the big bad, possibly the final villain, even though I do think it's Blackbeard. Emu can be the big bad. That's fine, right? So I've heard a lot of people say, well, what did you expect? Oda is supposed to show that Emu is in a different plane. And I get that. Emu's at a different plane because Emu is controlling the world. He's the overseer of the entire world. So it would make sense for Emu to be stronger than Rocks. However, in that moment, I was hoping that Rocks would try a few more things and we would see it to a point where Emu is so overwhelmingly powerful that Rocks can't do anything. And once Rocks can't do anything, if Domi reversal happens afterwards, then it's like, okay, well, fine. It was gonna happen. His will is crushed. It's over. Domi reversi, I guess. Now, other people are also using the whole homeland theory, right? And that's a possibility. Only people in the homeland, because at the point, we don't have any stipulations. We don't have any stipulations or limitations for Domi reversi. We don't know what the limit is. We don't know how much he can Domi reverse. So right now, Domi reversal just looks like a Deus Ex Machina ability. It just looks like Emu can hypnotize anybody he wants. And obviously, you can be patient, wait for whatever's happening to come to fruition. Like, Oda's probably going to explain the drawbacks of Domi reversal. How long is that going to take? We do not know. So you have two options here. You can either talk about how you feel in the moment, or you can just say, you know what? I'm just not even going to look into it. I'm just going to wait. Right? So in that moment, I'm like, okay, I don't know what the stipulations are for Domi reversi. I don't know what the limitations are. One thing that I do know is that the tension is now gone. Rocks and Emu is not a thing. That's just not going to happen. So at that point, it's like, all right, is Oda going to allow Rocks to fight back? Is that what's going to cause me to start feeling like there's still hope here? Like, Rocks isn't supposed to come out of this alive. We all know that. So somehow, some way, he's going to lose. He's going to die. There's something, right? So then we're at a point where, how long is it going to take for Oda to explain this Domi reversi thing? What are the stipulations? And to me, the homeland thing is a non-starter, because if you notice, some of Roger's pirates had been hit by Emu already, and they are feeling the same funny sensation that Rocks was feeling. So I think they're about to get Domi reversal too. So I think that disqualifies the homeland theory. I think it does. And if that's the case, then the other stipulations would have to be, if he's Domi reversing someone like Rocks, that because Rocks' will is so strong and he's so powerful that maybe it's only Rocks that can do it, or it's the fact that Rocks can fight back. It has to be something that doesn't make this ability so cracked that only Luffy is the only one that can oppose Emu. And if that's the case, then it's like anyone that goes up to Emu in the first place, it's like, why should I feel anything? Why should I feel anything when someone comes up to Emu or opposes Emu? That's it. So we need to learn the rules. So for me, that's your speculation. Well, that's all. So at the end of the day, guys, are we not all speculating? And that's what I think, right? Because how would you guys feel if Luffy gets Domi reversied? You say, well, there's no way Luffy could get Domi reversied. How do we know that? What did I think about Edo Tensei? I thought Edo Tensei was a little Mickey when it happened. This has happened before. Nika not Luffy? But that's my point. Like, we're all speculating here, right? So let's be frank, guys. Let's be frank. We all don't know what Oda's going to do. Let's be frank here. This is why we're having this discussion. So when there's a potential for Oda to rectify this, right? And I guess, and I'm giving you guys an example of, okay, what would it take for me to not be annoyed at this? And if it's a case where it becomes like a whole Majin Vegeta thing, where Rox is able to fight back, but at the end of the day, he has a choice between his family or being Domi Reversied, and he picks Domi Reversi, then I'd be okay, because you've at least shown that there's resistance to it. And I think that's really what I'm looking for here, is that there has to be a setup of some resistance. For someone as strong and as powerful and as built up and as magnanimous as Rox, if he cannot resist, nobody in the story can resist outside of Luffy. Nobody. Like, literally nobody. And then if you want to say that's okay because Imu is the ultimate evil, I guess I understand that. But then you also have to accept the fact that anytime anyone comes up to Imu, we should just expect them to lose until the rules and stipulations have been explained. So your only hope is Luffy, and that's it. I think resistance would be good for the reader to feel something when anyone comes up to Imu. And the one person that you would think would stand up to Imu was Rox. The reason why we loved Rox so much, and let's think about Rox's character, for example. One of the biggest things that got people hooked to Rox was the fact that he went up to Mary Joa and challenged Imu directly. Nobody in the story has done that. So for us, we're thinking, oh, Rox might be the only guy. Well, Rox might have something to challenge Imu. Rox might have something to challenge this person. So when you see that, it's like, wow. So Rox really didn't have anything at all. So then who is it? And I guess the only answer is Luffy. So then it makes Luffy the chosen one. It's only Luffy that can resist Imu. So then I wanna ask the chat now, how do you guys feel that Luffy's the only one that we're speculating can do anything about Domi Reversi? Because you can make as many speculations about the homeland thing as you want. We just know it's not true. We don't know it's true yet. To you, Xavier. How do you guys feel about that? Because right now, guys, Luffy is the chosen one. Because we know, because we believe devil fruits kind of have sentience to a certain degree. And I'm also asking, so, because I'm asking the people as well, because I know there's people. Let's see. Someone says, Jay, remember Rox did know he needed 2 devil fruits. He did have a plan, but he had no choice but to go save his family. So ST Pro, that's a good point. Jay, I just fundamentally disagree with your reading and understanding of Domi Reversal as a mechanism, as Rox as a character in the story at this moment. So then, Tayoshi, I'm curious, what is your read on Rox and Domi Reversi then? What is your read? Because I think that's important. The reason I'm curious about your opinion on that is because based on my reading of Rox's character and Domi Reversi, that's one of the reasons why I have an issue with it. Why didn't Emu Reversi, Roger, and everyone else? I'm not sure. Because we don't know the rules of Domi Reversi, so we don't know why. So to me, that's a valid question. Because I'm here, I'm not just here to yap. I'm also here to have a conversation with y'all. Because I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they don't like the Chosen One thing. They think it would be boring. But that seems like the direction that it's going in. Nika and Joy Boy lost if Luffy is a Chosen One, he's chosen to fail. I don't know. I don't think that's where it's going. Jay, how would you feel if Luffy had to team up with Blackbeard's Yami Yami fruit to beat Emu? I don't think I would like it, personally. Now, are you alluding that Blackbeard is the other sovereign in the theory? JJ, dude, I've already talked about the Homeland theory. You do not have to spam because I do not believe that's actually true. I literally think some Roger pirates are being Domi reversied as we speak, so please don't spam. Please. Remember, Sabo, it seems when it was in the throne room and Emu Gorosei transformed, maybe there's a limitation. I don't know. I do not know. So, I don't think I would like the idea of Blackbeard and Luffy teaming up. I like the idea of Blackbeard being an obstacle that Luffy has to overcome. Because then you're talking about Blackbeard and Luffy becoming Sasuke and Naruto. I don't know if we as a community would like that. I don't know if we'd like that. Ano can cancel out Domi reversal. I don't know why. No. So I'm gonna reiterate this again. The Homeland theory, I don't necessarily agree with, just because I'd need to know what those Roger pirates meant when they said they feel a strange sensation after they got attacked by Emu. Because that's the same signifier that Rock said when he got hit by Emu's Emu's tentacles or whatever. There's a strange sensation. Wait a minute, it doesn't even hurt. It sounds like they're about to be Domi Reversi themselves, and I don't think those Roger pirates are from God Valley. So that actually might be disqualifying that, because then if those Roger pirates become Domi Reversied, then that theory completely goes out the window. So then we have to figure out what's the stipulation. Now there is one says, I think Domi Reversing only works on people with no devil fruits. So that's possible, right? Because I don't think we've seen anyone Domi Reversied with a devil fruit. So I wouldn't disagree with that. That would make Kaido look pretty dumb, but I mean, that's possible. Jay, the mural of Elbaf already shows how it is not Luffy versus Emu, is everyone against Emu. So then that's not necessarily it. Because I'm pretty sure Emu has some people on their side as well. The devil in you will fight Emu. Do we believe devil fruits come from Emu? Doesn't Roger also have no devil fruit? Yes, Roger doesn't. So my question is, why don't we Domi Reversi Roger? That's the thing. For every speculation that we have, there is an answer. So we do not know until Oda shows it. So one of the things that I think that we do is we have a lot of hopeful speculation for One Piece to explain why something that we like isn't bad in that moment in time. But it's based on pure speculation. So if you're reading Domi Reversal and you're reading that chapter standalone without speculating what could happen in the future, the one thing that came to me without speculating anything in the future, without thinking about what's coming next, is I do not like this because it feels cheap. It's cheapened all the buildup of Rocks. And you could argue, oh, Jay, you just really, really liked Rocks, so that's why you're upset. Well, yeah. I think that's why Oda did it. I think it's because Oda likes, I think Oda likes, Oda knows people like Rocks so much. So for Rocks to be defeated so abruptly and so quickly, I think Oda's going for the shock value. And I genuinely think people are expecting, I think Oda's expecting people to be upset because I think that's what he wanted. And it's very anticlimactic. Do you think it's not, do you not think it's tragic? Oh, it's definitely tragic. It's definitely tragic. But at the end of the day, I still think it's a bit cheap. I think it's cheap because the power itself is so mysterious. It's like, it's not explained at all. We don't know what's going on. So to us, it's just like, I'm Imu, Poke, I'm going to control anybody I want. It is what it is. And it's cheap. Like, to me, it's cheap. Like, it's genuinely cheap. Are you more upset that it happened too quickly or that it just happened at all? I'm upset that it happened so quickly. That's what it is. And I know, and so I know why he did it. He obviously is trying to show, he basically used Rocks to show that Imu was above all. That's it. Are you posing an alternative where Imu and Rocks go fist to fist? I don't think it would go fist to fist. I don't think they would go fist to fist. I just think that, I think it would be, if we had an extra chapter of Imu struggling with Rocks, and it's just virtually inconsequential. It doesn't even have to be fist to fist. I think it would at least give us enough time as a reader to accept the fact that Rocks is powerless before Imu. And then the Domi Reversi would be easier. It would be easier to accept because we as a reader have already realized, oh, bro, this is powerless. So then the Domi Reverse will be like, oh, that's the final nail in the coffin, not the first nail in the coffin. You know, I feel like Domi Reversal should have been the final nail in the coffin for Rocks rather than the first. And I guess that's what I'm trying to explain. And not see him as the big villain. So that's, I mean, Tiante, that's not a bad point. I think I don't think I expected Rocks to be able to damage Imu. I guess I expected a minor struggle, considering how legendary Rocks is. I guess I expected some sort of struggle. But nothing Rocks can produce can be more powerful than the combined Yonko attack. So, yes, but then there's also a case that not every massive and giant attack is also the most potent attack. Just because there's a lot of size does not mean that it's actually the most potent attack, because potency doesn't also mean size. It's a large scale attack, but doesn't mean it's the most potent. Blackbeard counters Imu? Why do you think that? Jay, do you think it's because he doesn't have fights last more than one chapter? I hate when people wait for the anime. I mean, that could also be it as well. That could be it as well. Do you think Dragon will face Imu? No, I don't think so. I don't think they were holding back. I just don't think that's the attack that's actually going to damage Imu. Because it's shown. Like, do we think they were using Conqueror's Haki on Imu? Because we don't know that. Do you think the payoff will be enough to service the shock value Oda is trying to instill? So that's what I'm waiting for. Because to me now, due to the shock and the abruptness of it, the payoff has to match the shock. I don't know if the payoff will match the shock. That's my concern. That's my fear. That's my fear. The info we needed, and we don't know if Imu's power is due to a devil fruit. So that's the thing, we don't. Because we don't know anything about Domi Reversi. We don't know if it's a devil fruit ability. We don't know if it's just magic. We don't know what it is. We don't know. Let me get into some super chats because we've had a lot of them and I need to read them. Okay. Super chat from Rowdy Eggplaid. $20. There's a rat currently going through my wall. Oh, wait. There it goes with a 20. Thanks, Rowdy. I appreciate it. We have Loco Clutch 98. So what about Domi Reversi don't you like? Just take away rocks getting domied. What is considered ass about Reversi? So I brought this up in my last stream. I'm not a fan of the mind control, I'm gonna hypnotize whoever I want powers. I've never been a fan of it because to me it's always seemed cheap. It always seems cheap. It seems very low effort. It seems very gimmicky. And again, I understand this is a manga, but it's the same thing as regen. Regen is cheap. I'm gonna watch you do all your most powerful attacks and all I'm gonna do is just regenerate. Because to me at that point, it's like there's no tension in it. There's no, you're not on the edge of your seat watching a fight with someone who can regen. You're not on the edge of your seat when someone is just gonna mind control somebody and move on. So for me, I just find it very cheap as someone that would enjoy a fight in general. I've never enjoyed that type of stuff. Right? So it doesn't excite me as a reader to see things like mind control and regeneration. So every final villain is cheap for the most part. Think about it, right? Let's use an example from Bleach and Yhwach, right? You have okay, so the King, you brought up a great point. Regen done well is in FMAB. FMAB, we saw the limitations of regen earlier, like very early on. So we knew if you kill them enough, they're gonna run out of souls and their Philosopher's Stone is gonna fall apart and they're gonna die. So now at that point, you're already in your mind, you know, okay, so they can be killed. We just gotta kill them enough. And the fact that you can actually kill them with their actual weapons, that's what gets you excited. So that's regen that's done. That's done well. So FMAB actually had a limit and they established the limitations early with regen. That's when it was acceptable. I found Father boring. I didn't like Father. I thought Father was boring. I thought he was Mickey. I thought he was the weakest villain in the entire story. So I didn't like it. That's why Father was a little lame. I think in general, what you will find is a lot of like Yhwach, a lot of people got frustrated. Like Majin Buu, people hate Majin Buu because of what it took to actually kill Majin Buu. Vegeta blew himself up and atomized Buu, and he still regenerated. People didn't like Buu. It's not just One Piece. It's a common thing. People don't talk about Father as a great villain. So, wait, so Yhwach before Almighty, we love him. After Almighty, it was just like, well, what are we gonna do? Ichigo gained a Bankai, 2 Zanpakutos, learned a whole new technique, and Yhwach stopped it before he even used it. You can ask any Bleach reader. You can ask any Bleach reader. It was like, man, what is this? What are we doing? Why do you think people were so angry at the end of Bleach? It's because it's Mickey. So then we just had to Mickey Yhwach with some random arrow from Ishida and it was over. Right? Another example, Sukuna. Do you know how frustrated people got with Sukuna and his binding vows? People were like, bro, when is it gonna end? Can anyone kill Sukuna? Sukuna was killing everybody. Everybody that came up to Sukuna, killing them. Gojo, killing them. People got so frustrated. And here's the sad part. People loved Sukuna. They loved him. But what happened is it waned on people as you moved forward. Because at the end of the day, this is not just a JD take. This is not just a One Piece take. A majority of anime fans get tired of the final villain being so broken and overpowered that they're just like, oh, can it just end? Please. Please. So when you use all of that context, and then you think about Domi Reversi, and you think about Regen, doesn't it feel like we're going down the same path, guys? Without the rules and without the stipulations? Are you guys not worried that that's the path we'll go down with Imu? Especially since we don't know the rules. Does that not concern you? Are you guys not worried? Do you think it can't happen to One Piece? Because right now you're speculating that it's not going to be like that. But the JJ can speculated it wouldn't be like Bleach. The Bleach fans speculated it wouldn't be like that. When we had Kaguya, I mean, God's sakes, Madara. Like Madara. And then Kaguya. No, Jay, these, oh my God. Oh my God. Are there some anime only fans in JJK? Oh my God, I just spoiled a bunch of people. Wow, I am so sorry. Okay, sorry. Yo, oh my God, if I spoiled you, I'm so sorry, guys. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. So why did y'all stop me, bruh? Why did y'all stop me from spoiling? Yeah. My bad, y'all. If you're anime only for JJK, I'm so sorry. Oh, bro. Oh my goodness gracious. People loved when Madara was broken. They loved it until he turned into anime Jesus. GG's. I was on a roll, bro. I was just yapping, man. I was just yapping. It is what it is, bro. I was just yapping. That's what I do best. I yap. I'm a yapper, man. It was an accident. It was an accident, bro. It was an accident. Come on, man. It was a joke. Come on. It was a joke. Come on. Let's read some more super chats so I can avoid responsibility for spoiling people. Imu is just a persuasive guy, but jokes aside, there is valid concern for Domi Reversi means in the story. I agree. Thank you, real OG Amish Ninja. What a name. We have Weekly Jonin. Oh, Jonin, what's up, man? I feel like we're just apprehensive because of Bleach and Naruto. Would there be an explanation of Domi that you'd find interesting? I think the non-devil fruit thing would be kind of interesting. If there was like a willpower or a capability, if there was a drawback where he could only possess one person depending on their strength, I'd be okay with that. There just has to be some sort of rules or stipulations to it. The fandom would be better if Twitter didn't exist. People there would slander influencers and mangakas if those are not aligned with their agenda. That's true. I can see that. The Omega Studio, and that was D_634 for a member. Thank you. Give me a second, chat. By the way, I got to read through these super chats. I don't want to go too long. People have to admit that Oda isn't perfect. He has flaws as a writer, not developing the Straw Hats, Wano, not allowing death to further the story, Kinemon. He's good, just not perfect. Also, Kingdom Read streams when we getting into peak. I mean, I'm caught up, so there are no Kingdom Read streams, but the Omega Studio. Thank you for the 20 Australian dollars. Mr. Galaxy Wide, $5. To be honest, my biggest fear isn't Domi Reversal. It's immortality and regen. In a good bit of other manga, once it's introduced everywhere, and so I agree. So Mr. Galaxy Wide, that's what we were talking about before. I agree. That's my concern. I said in my review, Domi is too plot convenient. I agree. It is too plot convenient. Average Bananas, $5. Is it cope to say that Domi Reversi only affected non-devil fruit users? That's why Rox is probably looking for two fruits. It's possible. The only question I would have to that is, again, why didn't he possess Roger or Garp, right? We have Sir Missile Monkey. Oda hits the community with so many different cliffhangers that we forget these are all cliffhangers. The panel is meant to bring you back for the next issue. Yes, I agree. But that's the danger of a week to week read. FED God. Luffy gets Domi reversied. Charlie's prediction. The One Piece community would get upset at that. I can tell you now. Everyone loves Domi reversied till it happens to Luffy, if I speak. Luffy gets Domi, Nightmare Toon Luffy, Pure Chaos from IMAX Stupide, I guess, yeah. Lil Emu, $5. Don't think Emu loses to one person. It requires a plan over years, like Kaido took 20 years. Emu requires an 800-year plan set in motion in Joy Boy's time. Interesting. Advertising for Chase Bank. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. We have Isaac Gavey, 7762, $5. Remember, this is the same man that went up against Joy Boy and apparently won the fight, and I don't want anyone but Luffy to fight him. Allegedly, unless you're counting like Zunisha. Because Zunisha obviously apologized to Joy Boy for a reason, which means he probably got Domi reversied. It could be. I don't know, but then why did he get punished? We don't know. We'll have to see. Sunday Lollipop, $2. Thoughts on Joy Boy causing the flood to weaken Emu? Possible. That'd actually be cool. Interesting. Ooh, interesting. To not get reversed, don't say no to Emu's order. Not sure about that. You have 129 SEK. Jay, I think the University of Rocks would have been great if it was after 2 chapters of battle, but it seems very rushed. How did this all happen in 1 chapter? Hockey Review, I agree. I don't think that's my issue. It's just it was so abrupt and it's so quick within the flow of the chapter. Domi reverse stacked with immortality kind of makes Emu seem lame. Aside from turning others, what really has Emu done that makes them feel unstoppable? That's a good question. Aside from turning others, what really has Emu done that makes them feel unstoppable? That's a good question. As a villain, right now, guys, Emu's just a gimmick. And I'm not saying that as a slander. I'm saying that as a factual statement. Right now, Emu is just a gimmick. An overpowered gimmick. As far as I'm concerned, Emu is what you would call a magician. His hockey? Maybe it's hockey that is fearsome, but has his hockey actually damaged anybody? So that's the regen gimmick. Regeneration is a gimmick. That's what I'm saying. He is a mind control regen gimmick. That's it. Sasri Dar. This could be a bit Mickey, but Rocks was literally lifted up by Emu before getting reversied. But Dory and Brogy had no such thing. Possibly? I am not sure, actually. I'm not sure what that means. There's not much personality. Well, that's the thing, because we don't know much about Emu yet, right? Emu was a clown. I hired a kid. Yo, come on, yo. This chat is saying some crazy things. Azor Quill. We fought gods in heaven and gods on sea. That leaves the abyss. I can see the answer to Emu being literally a void. Or literally the void century from Azor Quill. I guess so. I mean, if you're talking about from a thematic standpoint, I can understand. Would you agree, and this is from 8 Rodriguez, would you agree this late in the story, we should know a bit more about Emu by now? Enough so that we shouldn't have these doubts in narrative decisions involving Emu this late in the story? I mean, I would say yes, it would be nice to know more about Emu, but my question is then where would you insert that? How would you explain more about Emu if he's not really been shown that much yet? You need an appropriate time to do that. It makes sense. Emu tyrant to Joy Boy's freedom. I mean, if you're talking about from a thematic standpoint, like I can see what you're going for, but just because something has been set up and just because something can tie into a theme doesn't make the quality of its delivery good. I could say that I want a pizza and I order the pizza from Pizza Hut. I know the pizza's coming. I've had Pizza Hut pizza before. So in my mind, I'm excited to get some Pizza Hut pizza. If the pizza's delivered and somebody stepped on it, dropped it on the floor, and then gave it to me, at the end of the day, my pizza was delivered. I got my money. I paid for the pizza. It's here. I'm about to eat it, but the delivery was poor. My pizza is smashed. But people be like, well, but it's still pizza. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like you're getting mad that someone stepped on my pizza. So we need to wait. It doesn't taste as good as it could have been. Someone said, dang, I'd kill for a pizza by now. So, Raps, I agree with that. Just different perspective. It's fair. I agree. Choose one. The pizza hasn't been delivered yet. You could say that. Y'all should order Pizza Hut. Same thing with Gone. He had the same potential to be as strong as Meruem. He's 100% chosen. I guess. So, like, if you're going to think of Meruem, for example, I would say Meruem is a great example of having an overpowered villain that's placed limits upon himself based on his character. Imu could probably, not Imu, Meruem could have killed everybody in that arc and the arc could have been over. But because of the character writing of Meruem, it makes sense as why he would limit himself. So that was one of the more expert ways to write an overpowered character, but still have tension within the fight. So I think at this point, because we don't know anything about Imu at all, Imu is just someone that speaks in King James English. We don't know anything about Imu. So the only thing we know is what Imu can do, and the fact that Imu is the god of the world and this big bad. So now we're at a point in time where it's like, well, we don't know anything about Imu, and we know he's broken and cracked. He seems a little boring. And there's more to come, obviously, but right now, in this moment, guys, can you say that Imu is interesting? Or are you going to say, right now he's boring, but I'm sure there's more to come? Which one is it? Imu broke? Imu is broken. He's a weirdo? He said Emu's a weirdo. Emu's a simp. He's more intriguing. As a character, as a fighter, no. He's boring. More to come. Emu is not as interesting as Don Freaks. I don't know how we got it. I don't know how we got it. Maybe it's my fault for bringing upon honor. The mystery is the interest for me at the moment. Okay. Emu is just all foreshadowing. Yes. Reading One Piece is all about potential for me. Jay, it's literally all connected. He's not boring because of the things that Oda has set up that makes things interesting. So what I'm gathering from you guys is that you guys have basically put your stocks into the potential. You guys have put your stocks into the potential, and you are trusting that Oda is going to deliver. So if that's, and if you're saying reading One Piece is about the potential, then my question to you guys is, what about the payoff? Or I would even argue, I would even say, what do you hope happens with Emu? Because that's dangerous, because you don't know what he's going to do. So you're trusting in whatever Oda's going to do. So now Emu's not potential man, which is hilarious. We've got a new potential man. So what are you guys hoping Oda does? Because you're putting your faith in him, but so you guys must have some expectations. What are your expectations? Because we had the same thought in Kaido, but Kaido wasn't what we thought he was. The same thing happened. Right? You hope he be a good villain, but if he don't, Imu will be Kaido. So that's my point. You're hoping he's insanely strong, killed by Blackbeard to avenge his dad. I would like that a lot, actually. Mark my words, Imu will disappoint. He has no charisma. How is Imu potential, man? He already won. Jay, as someone who is first draft into the story, the best way to do One Piece villains is to have setbacks or reasons for why they can't just destruct the world. I agree with that, but I don't think Imu has ever been truly challenged outside of Joy Boy. Imu backstory will be Void Century? No, I don't put my hopes into potential. If the day comes where it gets interesting, I'm gonna be excited then. So then, Miss I'm Zero. So then, are you interested now? Or are you saying you're not excited right now? Because I'm curious about that point. We'll get 20 Kings flashbacks. Make him unique. What would make Imu unique? Nika Fruit Hype Tool. Imu was just there, bro. No dreams, no ambition. Well, Imu obviously wants to shape the world in his image, and it's not done yet. And that's probably due to like the D's or the Davy clan or whatever, right? That's at least what's implied. IDK, I don't expect him to be Doflamingo quality. That's asking for a lot. The King, why is that asking for a lot? Would you not want him to be a villain with depth like Doflamingo? What's wrong with wanting that? I mean, Imu's already unique, as in his powers are just different than everyone else's we've seen in the story. What part of Imu's mystique do you really want explored? The background and the history, right? I think Imu is tied to the Void Century. I want to know who Imu actually is. Or why Imu hates the Nefertari so much. Or why Imu hates Lily. Because to me, that alludes that Imu was a person at one point in time. And not just this devil. I disagree, Dizzy C, that Blackbeard has the exact same question. We know enough about Blackbeard. We know enough about Blackbeard to like him already because there's a lot of his character that we've already seen. We just don't know his backstory yet. I haven't I don't know Valentine because I haven't read Steel Ball Run. Do we though? I like to say we do. The 20 Kings were Domi Reversied and betrayed Joy Boy and the Ancient King. I mean, let me ask you guys a question. Would you guys be okay with the whole world being the way it is because of Domi Reversi? Would that not seem a little cheap? No, but I've been told to watch Gen V. I've been told to watch Gen V. Domi, Mickey for a reason. Nothing unique. He just wants control. I think it should be deeper than that. I think it should be deeper than that. To me, I think that a good counter or contact for Domiroverse is that it must be done in your homeland. Still hate the ability regen. The homeland theory, I mean, I get it, just seems like such a stretch. Because then why doesn't he just hunt other like famous pirates, or stops? Why didn't he just stop Roger from getting the One Piece by like attacking him at Loguetown? Because I know what people are saying. It's because pirates are never home. That it's like the natural counter to a Domiroverse. Like I see what you're going for thematically, but I just don't. I don't know. It just seems like a stretch. And it's pure speculation. Mind you, everything we're doing is speculation here, so I get it. I mean, it seems random. I think it's based on what Domiroverse means in Latin. I think that's where it's coming from. Would Char Aznavour count as an OP villain done right? There was a Char Aznavour in One Piece. One Piece, you know what? Let me not get there. The level that you'd have to get into to have a Char Aznavour in One Piece, nah, man. I don't think that's possible. Dizzy C. Jay, isn't it more down to interactions and contrast then for Imu? Croc has no backstory, but folks love him. Enel barely has a backstory either. Imu's brokenness is on Oda if he can make the fight fun. So you bring up a good point, Dizzy, right? I think I would argue Kaido would be as loved as Crocodile or Dofi, at least, if we never got a backstory for him. I think because when you think about Crocodile and his impact on his arc and on his story and his antagonism of Vivi, I hope I didn't skip. No. I'm gonna get to the Forgan. I'm gonna get to the super chat. Don't worry. I stopped at a certain spot because of how effective Crocodile was as a villain, to the point where you actually hated him at many points within the arc. He landed as a villain. It's the same thing with Enel, because Enel like bodied Wiper, because he shocked Robin, because he pissed Zoro off for shocking Robin and then Zoro got shocked, because Enel was just a constant terrorist to everyone around him. As a villain, you felt the magnitude. You felt it. People just went out of play. So you felt the antagonism of Enel, and you didn't really need a backstory because he served his purpose as the antagonist and as the villain. There wasn't much hidden depth with these characters as well. So you weren't expecting more from them. You were just saying, look at what he's doing right now. So for me, every villain doesn't need to be deep. Every villain doesn't need to have some crazy backstory. If you look at Arlong, if you look at Crocodile, if you look at Enel, you don't need a backstory to be a good villain, but you need to be great with your antagonism. And I think that's what those three villains really did. So with Imu, if Imu's not gonna have a backstory, Imu needs to be great with their antagonism. The problem is Imu needs a backstory because Imu is so integral to the entire history of the world. So you kind of need a backstory for Imu. You need it. You can't afford it. You can't afford to have it. Like the Joker. Exactly, Abdullah. Like the Joker. Joker is great because of his antagonism within the story. Jay, who is the best written villain in the manga in your opinion? It's either Crocodile or Dofi. You can throw an honorable mention for Arlong in there, but to me it's Crocodile or Dofi. I'm a Crocodile guy. I'm a big Crocodile guy. I love Crocodile. Dofi probably has the better character, but in terms of who actually was more antagonistic, Crocodile was sick, man. Crocodile was a sick man. Sick man. Crocodile was fantastic, man. I love Crocodile, man. I'm a Crocodile stan. Listen, I love him. In the manga or OP manga? No, he's talking. You mean OP manga, right? You're talking about One Piece manga. Because Crocodile is so slept on, man. And if people say Dofi, I get it. But bro, Crocodile, man, the suit, The slick back hair, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. Crocodile was great, bro. Crocodile was great. Oh, who's the best? Oh, you're talking about in general? Oh, in general. Ha! In general, I mean, right now, Griffith is up there. I would say Griffith. Ironically, Char Aznable right now is getting up there. Um, I'm a big Johan. I'm a big Johan Liebert guy as well. Um, Meruem is definitely up there as well. I guess, I mean, to me, I'd probably pick Griffith in manga, but Char is getting very close. Um, yeah, I love Griffith, man. Best villain in Kingdom? I mean, best is strong because if you want to throw like if you want to throw if you want to throw Riboku in there, he's not really a villain. Hilariously enough, the real answer I want to say to that for Kingdom is actually Kanki. Cuz I actually think Kanki is a villain on the good side, but there's not really a good side in Kingdom because everyone's dying. But I'd actually say Kanki. Funnily enough, it would be Kanki. Cuz that guy's definitely he's just a villain, man. Like, he's a villain, but he fights for the right side. Like, yeah. Like, Kanki is a sick man. Reinhardt is a good shout. Hoken, absolutely not. Hoken is just Kaido, but worse. I'd argue Hoken is worse than Kaido. I think Saturn is very similar to Crocodile, that he's very hateable and can invoke disgust out of you. The problem is Saturn's fights really suck, which leave you frustrated. Yes, Dizzy, I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. Mm-hmm. I agree 100%, man. The Fury King Bradley from FMA, 100%. Oh, King Bakori the King? Absolutely. Matter of fact, I lied, chat. King Bakori, #1 villain in One Piece, man. You want to know why? Because he always got one in him. King Bakori, chat. #1 villain in One Piece. It's got, hold on, excuse me. Take the glasses off. Because we're talking about agenda now. It's obviously King Bakori. King Bakori is the #1 villain in One Piece. See, we're talking about agenda now. This is purely agenda. This is it. I'm about pushing. You know what? We might have to push that one. He said one more in me. We got one. He's always got one more in him, bro. The comeback king, bro. The kid. Low-key, someone should put King Bakori on a picture of Rocky. He's always the comeback kid, man. Y'all don't remember King Bakori? The king of Sorbet Kingdom before Kuma took it over? What a fear in my heart. Glenn, please stop. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Glenn, stop. Just stop it. All right. Anyway, time to put the glasses back on because let's have a discussion again. Give me a second. Whoa, man. It's hurting my headphones, hurting my ears. Anywho, I don't know the popular shonens like you, Jay, but I think Saturn is probably the best villain I've ever seen. Convince my family that it's the worst villain ever. That's interesting. Oh, no, that's exactly what we're gonna do from now on. If anyone wants to know I'm serious, I have the glasses on. That's the gimmick. Anyway, I gotta read these super chats because you guys have sent your money to me, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Jens Graham, could Oda have chosen someone to show how strong Imu was? As a question. I mean, I guess he used rocks for that, but maybe if he used one of the other pirates, maybe if he used Kaido, maybe, right? But I think he could have. Could Emu's power be tied to reverse will? Rock's thoughts of how absurd the suggestion is to kill his own family and how Luffy would just laugh it off? Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know how much I'd like it, but I'm not sure. Google me 2371. Regen villains are punching bags and incompetent. I agree. That's why I don't like Regen. Ship Show Mode 934. I think the key to defeating Emu was part of the OP treasure and why the old Yonko never tried to defeat the world government and were seeking the OP, the One Piece. Well, that would imply that they knew about Emu, which I just don't think they do. Quinn Lamvos Nak Moy for $5. Honestly, most of these opinions come from younger individuals, so you have to take their maturity into account. I mean, that's possible. Ursa Leoth. Why did you do this, Jay? Why did you threaten Oda with a strongly worded email? Look what he's done to our boy Rocks. Look what he's done to us. I don't think I want to take blame for that. That's not me. That's Oda's decision. JC Strong with the $2. Do you think we get reverse straw hats from this? Honestly, if it can happen to Rocks, why not? Why not? Love your content. Thanks for addressing the concerns of your fans for content. Stay legendary. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Have a good night, brother. Sanji XO, $5. The Toki Time Mickey or the Domi Mickey? Which one would you dislike more? That's a great question. That's a good question. Which do I dislike more? Honestly, the Domi reversal, Mickey, because Toki's time reversal, the stipulation that she can only go forward in time, made it bearable. That's why. Because we learned what the stipulation was. You can only go forward in time. It was bearable. I could stomach it. It's still Mickey, but I could stomach it. No, we didn't learn about Toki's timeline. We didn't. So, yeah, no, Domi's worse. We have Sir Lovelace for the $20. I think the best X of an OP villain done right is in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, except the 5th and 8th parts. It wasn't a powerful. The villain just got outwitted. Yeah. Oh yeah. X. Okay. I guess I think I understand what you're saying. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure does do overpowered villains well enough. You're a Joe D list? Oh, Joe D list? Okay, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, man. Jay, what do you think of Luffy Nika reversing people? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems like that's going to be the counter. It seems like that's going to be the counter, so it's like, I don't know. Tone. I don't know. This seems a little more Mickey, man. I don't know. All right. Let's keep reading. We have Muffs DK, $5. One Piece means a lot of things for people. Even if Oda botches it, this story got me to the point where I'm paying you to read this. Amen. And that's why I think a lot of people get upset at criticism of One Piece, is because I think One Piece just means a lot to people. Like, it really does. Like, One Piece has given people careers, right? One Piece has given people safety, right? One Piece is a distraction for people. One Piece kind of gives people hope. So a lot of people personally identify with One Piece. So when you come after it, to them, One Piece is a story of inspiration and hope and free will. So to them, if you criticize something, to them, you're not criticizing the moment. You're criticizing something that they admire, something that they love, and that they enjoy. And I understand that, because at the end of the day, you never know what people's situation's like, and you never know how one thing can really save somebody. Like, you just don't. You never know how. You don't know what people will latch onto to cope with their lives. And a lot of people do use One Piece to cope with their lives. And I'm not here to make fun of those people because you just never know when you're going to be at your lowest. And you never know what is going to get you out of your lowest. I know what got me out of my lowest, and that's Jesus Christ. Like, I'm not ashamed to say that. So for me, it's easy for me to just absorb One Piece as just a manga because my life is not One Piece. My life is Jesus. That's it. So as far as I'm concerned, to me, I'm just reading a comic book. Right? So I get it. I actually get it. But that does not give you license to attack somebody because they do not absorb One Piece the way you do. If you find it, it's like some people find it pathetic. Like, I get it. It's just, it's easy to find something pathetic when you're not in their shoes. It's easy to do that. And you could say it's unhealthy. Yes, you could say it's unhealthy. But again, you're not in their shoes. I think it's unhealthy. But if I was in their shoes, right? There's people that have never been able to make friends. And because they got into the One Piece community, they found a whole friend group. And to them, that means the world to them. So One Piece is what allowed them to have friends, which is why it means so much to them. And that's just that's like a small aspect of it. But if you think about it from that aspect, brother, you know what I mean? So sometimes just think about that. It's still dangerous. Don't get me wrong. I'd like you to find more things that are real, but hey, you know. Jay, I thought you'd like Gear 5, then being the happy savior to the lost souls like Kuma. I just think that Gear 5 just came out of nowhere, and it just seemed a little, a little Mickey. I've accepted Gear 5 after all, so it's okay, man. Penguin Kirby, Char Aznavour, one of the best written characters. Don't worry, buddy. I'll be working on a video soon. You'll learn all about Char Aznavour, one of the greatest rats the world has ever seen. Built different. But the One Piece is real. Amen. Amen. Oh, of course, brother. That's it. No Avitax. Jay ain't never cared for the Gear 5 Mickey. Not for me. Jay, are you excited for any new and upcoming manga out there? Gachikuta is amazing. I love Gachikuta right now. Definitely check out Gachikuta, and I'm going to catch up with Kakurabachi. But Gachikuta, that's the one that's got my eye right now. I'm not caught up yet, but I've been thoroughly enjoying what I've read and the manga. All right, let me continue with some super chats. Do I think Emu was introduced too late into the game? Honestly, yes, I do. But Emu's here now, so I don't know. But I do think so. Why do you think Gear 5 came out of nowhere? I don't know. It just wasn't foreshadowed as much as people think it is. You ever watch or read the Lord of the Rings story? I have not. Did you finish Blue Box? No, I have not yet. I plan on getting back on that. DJ Hosta for the $2. Flashback confirms Kaido without a doubt is alive. I don't know about that, but we'll see. Meacham28. I hate how 6 top tiers can look so useless against the big bad. How are we meant to believe that the heroes of the present day can win without Mickey? Well, that's because they can't win without a Mickey. Because they can't win without a Mickey. That's it. That's why. We have JC Strong with the $2. Do we think we can get Reversey straw hats from this? Yes. I think I've said that already. We have $2 from Hoopty. We'll get the 20 Kings flashback. Yep. We have Forgan for the $5. Everything happens for a reason. I don't think Emu woke up one day and said, I want to sink this world. Go against Davy Jones and Jugabua for a reason. I agree with that. We need to know why. Xfusey. To me, I think that a good counter or contact for Domi Reversey is that it must be done in your homeland. Still hate the regen ability. I agree with that. Dofi is Char. Fight me. Unreal Catnip. I'm afraid not. I'd say Char is still far above Dofi. Um, your dad with the $5 super chat doesn't allow me to send a full message in detail. TRDR. Rox hasn't transformed, only begun the process. He will resist. Garp is Luffy. I hope that's the case. Garp is Luffy is also seeming like the case. That's a whole other discussion. We have Ed Marston, $5 from Canada. What do you think of Domi Luffy versus the Straw Hats? That would be interesting. I think that would be awful. I would hate that. Your dad, Moo only projects $5. Moo only projects this image of itself. It is truly a shadow clone of Moo, not the real body. However, Moo can still interact with others like a one-way mirror. That is possible. We have Haloing Mellow, just $2. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Zoro gets Domi reversied and becomes his worst nightmare. A man of color, also with G-Stream. Omega Studio. What is wrong with you? Wait a minute, yo. Zoro gets Domi reversing and becomes his worst nightmare. A man of color, nigga. How do you not like this stuff, guys? How can you say you hate agenda with a super chat like that? That's what is. That is so stupid. Oh my god. Oh my god, man. Oh. Oh my god, that is good. That is some good stuff, man. That is great. What a super chat. Nigga Studio. Whoo, man. He got me doing the LeBron gift, man. Taking my glasses off. Whoo. That is funny. That is funny, man. Holy moly. SpongeBob 38. The 70s are. Maybe the issue with Domi Reversi is that it takes agency away from the person being possessed. It gives wrongdoers an out and robs the audience of having more characters like Don Quixote do Flamingo. I agree 100%. That's a good super chat right there. We got from a few seconds ago, we have La Phoenix. The problem with JJK is the last villains are just a bored immortal and a guy who does whatever he does whatever he wants, while Madara and Obito had pain and purpose, still spark real debates. So I agree with that. I agree with that. And that's kind of where JJK fell flat. And then we have real OG Amish Ninja. Now that's what I call agenda. Agreed for the $2. So we've talked about Domi Reversi at length, and that's been the main feedback here. I think we can all. I think I can come to the consensus now, based on this conversation, to say it just happened too quickly. Like, we knew it was coming, but it's almost as if we never really got to see Rox actually struggle or put up a fight. And some people will say, okay, well, that's kind of how it was supposed to be. But if that's not a good, it's very dismissive to say, well, that's just how it's supposed to be. When if you're a reader and you're immersing yourself in the story, right? Think about it for a second. Let me paint the picture. We're in the chapter, right? Where Emu's pulling up, everyone's running, everyone's fighting, right? Captain John has kids devil fruit. Garp has just saw Emu. Garp has just seen the celestial dragons. We just learned what Garp has said, right? We just learned that Garp has an issue with the celestial dragons, and that he's actually going to do something about it. Everyone's like, oh my god, Garp, right? Rayleigh's running away with Shaki. Kaido and Big Mom are pulling up. Whitebeard is pulling up. The only direction that the narrative is going in is up. It's going up, 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 up. So as a reader, especially if they're if they're heavily invested in this flashback, they're anticipating Rox coming out. You're going up, 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 and you're still going up. Then you get to the big named attack. All 6 people hit Emu. It's wild, right? Wow, we've never seen that before. It's still going up. Rox is trying to cut Emu. It's not working because we know there's the regen ability. So you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, this isn't working. What is Rox going to do realizing that Emu can't regen? Is he going to think about it? Is he going to come up with another plan? Is he going to use Conqueror's Haki? You're thinking, oh my God, what can Rox do? And instantly, as you're peeking and thinking, what can Rox do? How is he gonna overcome this? Domi Reversi. And instantly you're just straight down. Like it's like you're literally plummeting straight down to earth. Completely. So it's such an abrupt drop. And it's such a shock to the system that it's like, oh my God. So that's it? Is it over? Like, are we done? And obviously we got to see what happens next. But it's like, for someone as built up as Rox, for him to get cheap shotted like that, and it's not, some might not even say it's a cheap shot. To me, it's just cheap. It's a gimmick. Rox got gimmicked. The legendary pirate Rox got gimmicked by Emu. It's like, all right, so if Rox can get gimmicked, anybody can get gimmicked. And as a reader, you're just like, oh man. So we're just gonna watch Rox probably fight with Roger and Garp, and Rox is either gonna die, he's gonna get stabbed, he's gonna sacrifice himself. Like, it's gonna be very Harold. He probably suffers the same fate as Harold. Him and Harold probably suffered the same fate, now that I think about it. Like, it just seemed very shocking for me. What is the takeaway from Rox getting Domi Reversi that is cheap? What are we supposed to believe? I just thought there'd be more of a struggle. I didn't expect him to beat Emo. I don't think anyone that's read this story ever expected Rox to beat Emo, or even really do anything crazy. It just happened so quickly, and within the chapter where things are still rising. And the frustration should go to Emu, but at the end of the day, to me, I think it could have been done better. That might be crazy to say, but I just think it could be done better. It's funny, so Tahiro, you missed a like. We literally just started the conversation again. You missed a lot. So Omni, so here's what I find interesting, right? You say you don't blame Oda for shortening the fight scene since narrative is more important, but in a battle manga, the fights are supposed to enhance the narrative. The fights are supposed to enhance the narrative, you know? It'll probably be better done in the anime. I mean, you could say that. But if you know it can be made better, that means it's not as good as we thought it was in the first place, if it's going to be done better. Anything in fiction could be done better. I mean, I don't disagree with that. But I guess the problem is why am I wrong for saying it could have been better? Naguni Prince, I'm not going to change. Don't worry. If we believe the anime could have done it better, then does that mean it was good in the first place? And that's a serious question. So we'll see. Like, you can say we'll wait and see what happens next chapter, and that's fine. OP isn't handled like a battle shonen. It isn't handled like it's stereotypical battle shonen, but it also is a battle manga. And I think a lot of One Piece fans, I think as One Piece fans, we need to understand that One Piece is, by its classification, a battle manga. The fights should be good in a battle manga, and the fights should promote the narrative. So if we have short fights in a battle manga, that's a problem. The fights should enhance the narrative. It doesn't take away from the narrative. It's supposed to enhance the narrative. I don't think I've heard you talk about the conflict turning into needing to protect Eris and Blackbeard from rocks. That's what the chapter is focusing on to me. Well, that's what's gonna happen, right? So if we're gonna talk about what could happen later on, my hope, this is my hope, that Rox is met with the decision where he might kill his family and then he resists and either begs them to kill him or Roger and Garp kill Rox out of mercy for the sake of his family, or Harold pulls up the God Valley and kills Rox. Like, he's gonna die a noble death, and it's gonna be because he can't kill his family. Maybe he kills his wife by accident and Blackbeard escapes because his wife obviously doesn't make it. We're assuming his wife doesn't make it, right? So there's still that aspect, and that's probably the only thing really is that's keeping this thing alive right now. But that doesn't change the fact that Reversi is cheap. And to be frank, I can just openly say I don't like Domi Reversi, and that's probably part of it. I don't like it. I've never liked Domi Reversi. I don't like the regen ability, and I don't like Domi Reversi. I just think it's boring. I think it's cheap. It's just easy. But the problem with Domi Reversi type abilities and regen is, to me, they notoriously suck the tension out of fights. Notoriously. It's so notorious. That's why it's cheap. People say One Piece isn't a shonen battle manga. It's because One Piece is a different, it's in a class of its own within shonen battle manga. That's what I think, Matthew Mania. And I just want everyone to know, like, the reason why a lot of mangas kind of fall flat at the end is because most of the villains at the end are so overpowered that a lot of readers get to a point where they kind of just want it to end. And that's just, I mean, that's kind of how battle mangas normally end poorly in general. Like Bleach didn't have the best reception. Naruto, Kaguya, JJK, Sukuna. Most people don't care for Father and FMAB. And Emu's falling into that category, and that's where people are getting a little concerned. Don't forget, Rox will die with a smile on his face, though. I hope not. He probably will, but I hope not. One Piece fights carry a lot of emotional parts of the story. I don't know why people don't acknowledge that. So they do. But let's be honest, when was the last emotional fight in One Piece? Kaido versus Luffy wasn't that emotional. I wouldn't argue Katakuri versus Luffy was emotional. Luffy versus Dofi, there was too much stalling for that to be emotional. Zoro versus Lucci, that's not emotional. Kuzan versus Garp, you could throw that one in there. That does count. Garp versus Kuzan definitely pulled on the heartstrings. Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that one. Luffy versus Usopp is definitely one. Sanji versus Luffy, I guess you would consider that a fight. I guess you would consider that a fight. The Kaido one wasn't. Stop. And Katakuri versus Luffy, that wasn't. I wouldn't call that emotional. I think that's just running the ones. That's just an honest fade. I mean, war of honesty, but it's an honest fade. That's different. And to be honest, we didn't get enough of Garp versus Kuzan, unfortunately, because he got jumped at the end. Kid versus Shanks, it was emotional for me. I had a good meal. Kid versus Apu. Okay, so now y'all just throwing Vegapunk versus Kizaru. That's not a fight, though. I wouldn't call that a fight. That's just violence. That's just murder, dog. I wouldn't call that one a fight, man. Kaido versus Kinemon. Don't beg it. Come on, y'all. Don't do that. Kaido versus Yamato. Oden versus Kaido, no. No. Someone said a Pooh versus Kid, man. Y'all are funny. Xavier Ortiz, $5. Most One Piece fights that involved Luffy didn't really feel emotional for me. The ones involving the crew and everything else just fade, just fades being ran. Yes, it is. It really is just fades being ran. Um, let's talk about Garp. I am concerned. Garp right now is very Luffy core in God Valley. Garp is Luffy with a marine coat right now. And Garp actively going against the Celestial Dragons and actively going against a Gorosei is one thing, right? Because we're happy, oh, Garp's not ignoring atrocities, he's actually attacking the villain. Jay, how often do you go back through the manga to read things outside of the weekly experience for different perspectives as well? A lot of the time I do. A lot of the time I do. That used to be something I used to. So Tayoshi, you may not know this, but I've rewatched One Piece maybe 8 or 9 times. When I really, really loved One Piece, I have absorbed One Piece so much. There are just things that I remember by nature. Like, I loved it. But is ever doing chats with members? I might do that. That's for later on down the line. But back to the Garp thing. The problem I have with Garp being just like Luffy is that Garp being like Luffy but staying with the Marines doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Garp cannot be like Luffy and work for the Marines. He can't do that. So he has to have some motivation. He has to have some plan that is allowing him to stay, even though he hates the Celestial Dragons. He considers them maggots. He considers them scums, but you work for these niggas. He has to have a plan. He has to have a reason for him to be there. Because if he's just like Luffy and he's staying, it makes him just a what is Garp? What is his character? And Frosty, that's what I'm thinking. But then one of the things that I have to ask is, I'm in the wait and see with Garp. The reason I haven't said it's bad just yet, because I am praying to God. Garp has some moment where he talks to Dragon and says, Dragon's like, Dad, this is bad. I don't want to be a Marine anymore. I can't do this. And Garp was like, no, you can just, this is my plan, son. This is what I want to do. We can do this together. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. And he leaves. So then you learn about Garp's motivation and you have the conversation where the ideals clash between him and Dragon, and then you understand what Garp's plan is based on what he's seen, because Garp has to have a reaction. Another thing that I find weird is Garp openly defied the Gorosei and didn't die. Didn't get Domi reversaled, nothing. So how did he escape? Because they obviously framed him as the hero. So how is that possible? There's a lot of questions here. So right now, I love Garp. Y'all know I have a Garp agenda. Y'all know I love Garp. But Garp is on fraud watch. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. As someone that's had a very aggressive Garp agenda, Garp is on fraud watch. And that's a crazy thing to say, but he's actually on fraud watch here. This is dangerous for Garp here. Because Garp can't, he can't be Luffy with a Marine code. He can't do it because then his character's bad. So we gotta see. We gotta see right now. We gotta see. Garp is the definition of die a hero or live long enough to see or become a villain. He has to stop acting like Luffy. Well, he has to. So it's wicked out here for Garp, man. I don't know what Oda's gonna do. Because Oda's been skirting around Garp's motivations for a long time. Oda, you gotta show us now. Garp is trying to pay the bills, but he's not like big business. At least big business open about it. He said, I'm just a cog in the machine. I'm here for a check. Garp is not big business. Excuse me. Garp is not big business, Borsalino. You can't do that. He's there for a check. So it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. And I love Garp. I love him. I genuinely have hoped for Garp. I have headcanoned for Garp. I have ignored so much narrative that puts Garp in. So the narrative paints Garp as not wrong for what he's done. But the narrative also paints Garp ignoring atrocities at the same time, including letting his grandson die. So at some point we got to have a reason for this stuff, or Garp's Lander is open season. We have to have something. Would you consider Akainu evil? I wouldn't call him evil, no. I would not call Akainu evil. I'd call him brazen. That's what I'm saying. Garp is one of my favorites, but I can't defend him right now. So I need something, because if we don't get Garp's motivations here, if someone cooks Garp, I just got to stay quiet and hold. That's it. I just have to hold. It ain't looking too good, man. It ain't looking too good, man. It ain't looking too good. Xavier Ortiz. Most OP fights involve... Okay, I've read it. Yeah, I've read that one. We have Amirjeet Singh. Rock should be able to overcome Doom Reversal with his Haki next chapter. If not, the downfall of One Piece, in my opinion. It's downhill for One Piece. Hey, you're not wrong, Amar. That's what I think. Sorry for using your platforms for calling food stamps EBT today, Jay. Jay's an... Oh, that's crazy. Thanks, man. Shout out to Xavier Ortiz for being a member. Appreciate you, brother. We have Goat super chatted. Garp stares east, then he sees atrocities like his father. Like father, like son. That's toxic, but that's funny. Garp really hates pirates. Probably a sad backstory. Maybe. Can you give me your definition of what you define evil? Evil is... Evil is destroying... How would I describe... I'm using... There's big words I want to use, but I'm trying to find simpler words to use. Evil is doing something to intentionally destroy / inconvenience another person or a group of people or anything with no remorse at all, with a complete lack of morality. That's what I consider evil. So when you do something that is devoid of morality, when you do something that is not for the good of anyone but yourself, and you're willing to do whatever it takes, any cost. So we're talking about murder, destroying the lives of others. It's the lack of remorse that really makes something evil. It's the lack of remorse. It's the lack of morality. It's a lack of anything. I use the word malevolence. Malevolence is the word that I really want to use. So, and morality is complicated. So let's look. Let me use the word. Let me just type in the dictionary word. Malevolence is the desire to harm others, the quality of threatening evil, or a feeling of intense dislike and ill will. Like, for example, conscious wicked decisions. I would consider the Gorosei evil. I'd consider them malevolent because they are consciously wicked. Consciously. I'd say the celestial dragons are ignorant to a level that's beyond delusion. You could call them evil based on what they do, but I think their mind is so warped that they believe it's okay. In their world, it's okay. You can look at Child Doflamingo and understand that. But when you're thinking about the Gorosei, they are consciously evil. It's conscious. It's competent evil. It's disgusting. It's vile. Like the Gorosei are evil, period. There's no discussion behind that. The celestial dragons, the things that they do are deemed as evil. In their mind, it's normal. And I think that's the difference between the two. Yeah, Thanos. I mean, look, man. I love MCU Thanos. I'm a little toxic. All right. Thanos is a bad guy. All right. Would you consider Blackbeard evil? Yeah. I think what he did to Thatch was evil. I don't think you cannot call Blackbeard evil for that. I just don't think you can. Like, you have to call him evil, unfortunately. He is. He's evil. Blackbeard is definitely evil. When he killed Thatch, he was evil. I'm not justifying the celestial dragons at all. I'm just telling you what they are. I would say there's a difference between evil. You can be ignorant and still evil. That's possible. You could say they're ignorantly evil then, maybe. Either way, the celestial dragons are bad. let's not, because I know people are gonna clip it, and there's some idiots out there to be like, Jay likes the celestial dragons. I know what he is. No, let's not do that. All right. I hope Law's immortality surgery can take immortality away from people, but so evil in a simpler term is just profoundly immoral and wicked. That's it. So I think evil is really like the degree of bad. It's the degree of bad, because I think good and evil is very much a spectrum. And I think like benevolent would be like the farthest end of good, and malevolent is the farthest end of evil. And there's a spectrum, right? And I think the celestial dragons are far on the end of evil and malevolence. I think celestial dragons are at the very end. I think they are irredeemably evil. Like, it's bad. It's done. It's cooked. There's no to me, there should be no redemption. There shouldn't be. Whether Oda writes it that way, I don't know. But they're the worst. They're the worst of the worst. Emu, evil, done. Period. If you're looking at that spectrum, Blackbeard is evil, but he's not at the level of evil as the celestial dragons and the Gorosei. But Blackbeard is evil. Let's be honest, okay? Blackbeard is evil. Rocks, he's maybe less evil than Blackbeard, but he's still evil. He's still evil. I want people to know that. He's still evil. Still. So that's it. That's the spectrum. I wouldn't call him neutral. No. Rox is not neutral, unfortunately. Evil people can have wives and children. I hope you know that. Is Garp evil? No. Garp is not evil. Evil requires you to do morally wrong and wicked things. And I think once you cross murder, like, at the end of the day, Rock's murdering the Marine Admiral is an evil act, unfortunately. Whether you guys like the Marines or not, that's an evil act. You don't escape that. He murdered a Marine, he stabbed a child. That's very bad. That's cruel. He's evil, guys. That's we don't have to beg it. You could argue Whitebeard. Whitebeard hasn't done anything on screen that would even show that he's evil. So you could say Whitebeard maybe. Big Mom, evil. Kaido, evil. These guys are evil. Roger is up in the air. I don't know if I'd call Roger evil because the story doesn't present Roger as evil at all. What if that Admiral was evil? Well, we don't know that, do we? Would Jamrock be qualified to talk about evilness? I don't know. You'd have to ask him. Didn't Loki challenge the Beck first? Still didn't have to stab him. And to be honest, he pulled up on Loki and used a name. He used a full-on Conqueror's Haki attack on a child. That's crazy. So that's my point, Neuro. Roger did kill Squad's crew. But then again, he's a pirate. So then we cannot prescribe morality on Rox's murder of said Admiral? I disagree with that. Because if we're just going by basic morality, murder is wrong. He said that kid can handle it. All right, Glam's begging it. He's begging it. How would you describe Jamrock? I think Jamrock is very out of touch with reality, man. That guy scares me. Squad stepped up to him, I guess. How does rightness become evil once we go past morally wrong? Yeah, Roger is a bit more gray like Luffy. Of course, Luffy is framed as a hero by Oda, despite some of the messed up stuff that the level 5s he freed did. I mean, you could just argue Luffy's more good than bad. Luffy doesn't really do anything evil. Luffy just does a lot of ignorant things. Luffy's not evil. I think you can comfortably put more Luffy in good. What if you kill in self-defense? I mean, that's one thing. Is it morally wrong to protect slaves? Wouldn't that be evil? I don't think so. Not if you're valuing human life. I think I think if there's a law in place that says you shouldn't protect slaves, there's also, you could argue that if you're going from a law standpoint, but on a basic human morality standpoint, protecting human life is never going to be evil. Murder is the killing of an innocent person, defo evil. Fujitora is the only morally good admiral. I disagree with that. I would say Kuzan was morally good. I don't even think Kizaru is evil either. I think you're begging it, actually. I think Kuzan, Kizaru. Akainu, when he killed that guy for deserting, yeah, that's martial law, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about Green Bull Nakainu. We don't have to beg it. I mean, Akainu killing his own man was wild, man. Like, if you want to call him evil, that's fine. I ain't gonna lie. I can't. That's indefensible. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was crazy. I kind of wiped out that shit in Ohara. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm gonna hold my hands up to that one. If y'all gonna call him evil, I get it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just leaving it alone. You can Akainu, yeah. He's just yeah. Yeah, I know. Listen, I put my hands up on Akainu, Kizaru, Kuzan, Fujitora, especially Aokiji. I think Aokiji is morally good. I think he's good. Yeah, I think he's good. You know what's so funny? With the right brainwashing, tell me if this is a wild statement, chat. Tell me if this is a wild statement. Akainu seems like someone that's been indoctrinated with the notion of justice. So with Akainu, this is a dangerous statement. Akainu in Nazi Germany. Could you see that? Or is it just the fact that how he deems justice is based on his definition of justice? Or is it based on the message from the world government? Like, seriously, like, think about that for a second. If he's indoctrinated, he's just following orders? It's like I feel like he would. It's dangerous rhetoric. I know it's dangerous. I know what I just said is dangerous. But if he's about absolute justice can go very dark very quickly if you believe the wrong message. So then does Akainu believe the wrong message? Think about that for a second. If he went to a point to kill his own subordinates because they wanted to go home to their families, is that not absolutionist right there? We should think about that for a second. It's personal. If it's personal, then it's probably different. But if it's indoctrination, we'd have to see. We have to see. But it's possible for his type of character. I just want people to think about that. That's it. I'm not making an assertion, but it fits. If someone hasn't been indoctrinated the way Akainu has been, he is capable of atrocities. Ohara. It's that simple. It is that simple. I don't think it's foolishness. I think it's his own personal justice. Was it his personal justice to kill scholars? Because you say Akainu hates pirates, but he killed scores of scholars based on the commands of the world government. Was that his personal justice? Is being brainwashed to do evil not as bad as evil? It's like, then I was just doing my job, Mickey. I mean, I think it's like, it's unfortunate that you got deceived, but your acts, you still have to take accountability for the acts that you have committed. And villain, I understand that. Which is why I really want to know about Akainu's backstory, because there's something traumatic that must have happened to him to make him do that. But we'll have to see. I want to leave us with that thought. Yes, that's his personal justice. So think about it this way, Stick Creator. If someone's personal justice is absolute justice, if he believes in the ideology that fits his personal justice narrative, then what? Because let's be honest, a lot of the atrocities that we've seen in the world, they believed it was just. They believed it was just. That's what I'm saying. He's severely selfish. Yeah, this is good. I want to leave us on this. I want to leave us on this. I want you guys to think about that. I just wanted you guys to think about that. I'm gonna read these last super chats and we're gonna dip. Meacham 28 loved your video talking about Boa's strength is underrated. You are one of the only people respecting her name. Boa is one of the only female characters in One Piece that I still have a lot of hope for. La Phoenix with the $10. Garp was spared because he was the only Marine who could be portrayed as a hero in God Valley. The Marines are the face of the justice of the world, while the girls saying the Holy Knights are all on a whole nother level. That is possible. Senior Frankie Master. Hey Jay, just made it to the live. I still hope Oda uses rocks to show how someone can shake off the Umiversity and ends up dying in another way. Frankie, that's what I'm hoping as well. I'm hoping for that desperately as well. Okay, guys. It has been a great time. Thank you guys for hearing me out. Hopefully that I've cleared up some of the confusion that you guys have had about my stance on the story. And I will see you guys on the next chapter reaction. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to catch you guys later. Take care.